What's up, everybody? Brett here. I'm back today playing some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. Guys, I played this game today. I really wanted to cast it. This map is beautiful. Golden Tributes. Check this one out in your own multiplayer battles. It's an amazing map. First time I ever got to play on it, and there's some pretty hilarious positioning that goes on here. I'm going to be playing as the orcs. My ally is going to be my buddy Triari. He's going to be playing as Nakai and the Lizardmen. And look at this sick hill I gave my opponent. So of course I picked the map. I saw this picture of this beautiful pool with flowers, and you see the floating pyramids. It looks amazing, right? And I thought our opponents were going to deploy here in this kind of down position. But little did I know, we gave the dwarves and the high elves of all races this ridiculous hill position to defend from. And they have the units to make the most of it. They have long beards to hold the line and Phoenix Guard. They have Lothern Sea Guard with their spears and their bows to take us to school. They've got cannons. There's a cannon and a grudge thrower. So we're playing on a bit smaller funds, I do believe. So the army sizes aren't going to be enormous. They've got Ungrim Iron Fist. We see a noble here on foot, actually. The big beater is going to be the Prince, for sure, on the Star Dragon. Incredibly powerful monster, and we don't really have a lot of tools to deal with them. They've got two Quarrelers here. One Quarreler there, so, you know, armored, shielded, very good against, Orc Air Boys. And then some more Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards to come over here and try and help hold this position. I have Vanguard deployed with Morgrim's Mangy Marauders and the Death's Creepers, and we are hidden in these woods in the bottom of this hill. And we are going to surge whenever we can and try and do a nice timed attack. I've got 2 units of Goblin Wolf Rider Chariots. They're coming around the corner here. I don't know if they're quite hidden necessarily. I have a feeling my opponents know they're here. It's just going to be whether or not they have the micro to stop me from doing what I want to do. But in the meantime, we've got to advance. We have no choice. They have the artillery and we do not. Some horned ones. Let's go ahead and slow-mo it before the real sick action takes place. With the horned ones, super elite cav, armor piercing. With the right support, they can tear through pretty much everything the dwarves have for sure. But not so much the high elves. They've got all spears and Phoenix Guard, and that's going to be a pretty direct counter. But that's the mobile faction of my ally's army. He's got one Skink Priest with the Lore of Beast, and he's got Nakai the Wanderer, the man himself, with his tag team buddies, the Cohort of WAGHHH. And these dudes do enormous armor-piercing damage. They also have magical attacks, not the best versus the dwarves, but they do armor sundering, which is pretty huge. And we could take a look at their models. Pretty sick color scheme, too. And then Nakai, of course. Love the way he runs. He's super powerful. And, yeah, we also have the Cohort of Sotek, the unbreakable red-crested skinks. They have poison. They have their ability that, let's see what it's called exactly. It's Refuse to Die. So they can keep their entities alive, even though their models are technically dead. I've got a front line of Orc Boys to take the opening salvos of whatever we were going to be fighting. And they're all shielded, right? And pretty low cost. They peak loonies are unbreakable, and they can throw out their fanatics. The loons of 8 peaks, great armor piercing damage. If you can hit a blob of infantry, you can get a lot of kills. I went with Grimgore, and I'm going to be trying to use the WAGHHH, which, you know, is going to give us some pretty good value over the course of this long game. I don't have Gitsnick, his axe, mostly because it's very expensive, and you don't really need that kind of armor piercing to get through, you know, Dwarf Warriors and things like that. I also have a strong contingent in the back here of Black Orcs, and I'm going to try my best to get them in here, but we don't really have much of an avenue to approach from, and they've got the artillery to focus me down. It's a tough game, guys, and I have 1 unit of Orc Air Boys, which I was glad I brought, because they ended up having, you know, a Prince on a Star Dragon, and we need that kind of ranged capability, because, you know, my Lizardman ally doesn't have any, my Goblin Wolf Chariots aren't going to take down a dragon, and, you know, even the Morgrim's Mangy Marauders and the Death's Creepers aren't going to do it all by themselves either. So we've managed to sneak around. I had asked my buddy to go around the other side so that perhaps we could get in on the cannons, but he kind of followed me up and through here, which wasn't a bad decision. It's kind of the shortest route to get here. And the Quarrelers and the Dwarves here are in a great position to defend themselves, but not to defend these Lothern Sea Guard, which took up this amazing hill position. And they are going to get smashed in the back. They're braced, but they're not braced when you hit them from behind. And a little bit of a lapse of micro from the High Elf player, and we kill tons of them. But now the case is like, can I get out of here? I'm being shot down by Quarrelers. The Dragonback Slayers are charging in. Kind of missed those guys. But they have slowing attacks. So I'm trying to charge from unit to unit, but once the Dragonback Slayers get in, there's really not much I can do. And in order to support them to the best of my ability, I'm going to bring in my mobile skirmisher cav, and the Hornworms are going to get in, and they're going to get a nice side charge here and rip through these Lothern Sea Guard. I'm happy to get them offline before the battle really begins, but, you know, my Goblin Wolf Turrets, they're going to get routed and they'll come back. Not the end of the world. Death Creepers, if they have to fight in melee versus some Dwarf Warriors, they'd be fine, but not against Longbeards. You don't want them to take that fight. The problem is that everything on this side of the battlefield, the Dwarves rather, are all shielded. And we're not going to do great against them. I was hoping they would bring the dragon over here and let me shoot at him. But it's not going to be the case. Meanwhile, cannons. Non-stop volleys of fire. Lothern Sea Guard. Quarrelers. Just tearing into my Orc boys. I just need to get them into combat. I've got Grimgore and, you know, some of my other forces are taking roundabout ways to get in. My Night Goblin Shaman is going to use Itchy Nuisance and Vindictive Glare to try and whittle down this prince as best I can. I want to kind of keep more of a big overview of the battle. The Hornworms are tearing into people. 85 kills so far. I'm taking shots at whatever I can, but everything is shielded and heavily armored. I think that was an overcasted Vindictive Glare that just hit the prince, and it did nothing. I was very disappointed. It didn't do anything. I thought it would do a lot more damage than it did. And now we're trying to shoot the Dragonback Slayers, who technically have bronze shields. They whirl their axes so fast that it's like they block attacks. And we're going to walk away from the Longbeards. We're going to walk away from the Dragonback Slayers. But sadly, the Horn ones, even with the WAGHHH, you know, increasing their melee attack, it's not going to be quite enough. And one group of archers is not enough to shut down the prince. I've got my Black Orcs in here now. Cohort of Waddle, helping to break up this formation. But look how much stuff we've got fighting one group of, you know, Dwarf Warriors. These units, these high mass units, especially the cohort, they needed to get pushed forward. The cohort of Sotek needed to get pushed through probably here to shut down all of these units. Good move, you know, getting Nakai in here and shutting down these Quarrelers. But it was very difficult. I took out the Noble who was kind of holding this flank. A Noble's not going to be any match for Grimgore plus Black Orcs. He's going to shut him down pretty fast. But once we break this front line, we need to get in here as fast as possible. And that's going to be a Vindictive Glare going down from my caster, I do believe. Miasma of Despair also debuffing the Dwarves. Itchy Nuisance lowering their weapon damage and melee attack, making them not so much of a threat. But the melee fight was never where we were going to lose this. Another Vindictive Glare goes up, probably does a couple hundred damage. Not really anything to sneeze at. And I'm just right now using my Goblin Wolf Rider chairs to chase off some Lothern Sea Guard, and we just finished them off there. But we've got to get on some good targets. We haven't lost a lot of models, but we've taken a ton of damage. And I don't want to sit here and shoot at Longbeards while Quarrelers are skirmishing with me. So we're going to try and get into melee on them as best we can. 8 Picaloonies running in here. Orc boys behind them. And I'm trying to split up my forces to get onto as many of these ranged targets as possible. Grimgore plus Nakai beating down. Oh man, Ungrim took a huge hit there. He's got Deadly Onslaught. He can pop that to give himself some armor piercing. But Grimgore's going to take a lot of damage. But between him and Nakai, they definitely have the weapon strength to finish that off. And only once the Longbeards turn in the other direction is all this fire really going to be worth it. They're poisoned, so they're moving even slower than normal dwarves. But yeah, these Dragonback Slayers just on point, staying in a nice defensive position so that we can't really get into the back line and get these rear charges that we really wanted. Phoenix Guard still in perfect condition. Grimgard plus Nakai. I've got another Itchy Nuisance plus the Curse of On-Rare from Triari. That's a huge 1-2 punch. Their melee attack of pretty much everything here was 0. And we were able just to get kills. The Cohort of Sotek is an excellent matchup for the Dragonback Slayers. Just 2 units that, you know, the Dragonback Slayers are much more expensive. And they want to be fighting, you know, larger targets. They want to be fighting the Cohort of Hawaddle, not the Cohort of Sotek. You know, they don't do so well when they have to fight other infantry. Actually, I'll scratch that. They do very well, but it's a waste of their cost and it's a waste of their ability. Just sucks that there's so much large stuff here and so much anti-large to counter it. Black Orcs here, rallying. Star Dragon, still terrorizing me. And it's going to do some damage to my Night Goblin Shaman, but unless he wants to chase him off the battlefield, He's not going to be able to do that. An Amber Spear rips through the side of the formation. That was a great cast from the Skink Priest, up to 48 kills. Nakai gets his awesome charge. But yeah, he's just fighting all the wrong things. Longbeards is a great thing for him to fight. Grimgore versus Phoenix Guard is a great thing. So we've got some good matchups here. But we were never able to shut down these cannons as grudge throwers. This whole flank here is pretty much lost. I don't know how much of anything, if anything, I have left. I brought these units all the way back and around because I couldn't quite get through. And I wanted to have them here in case we could help to snipe out the Prince. You know, we could, with 3 ranged units, you can kind of make a triangle and box him in. But he was able to, of course, he's very mobile, very tanky, and was able to get away. I'm thankful they didn't have any healing from the High Elves. A Lore of Life caster would have made it almost impossible to kill Ungrim. Nakai's still running around doing his best. Some of my Black Orcs are coming back in. WAGHHH's been popped for the 2nd time. I'm attempting to kill these Phoenix Guard here. Grimgore doesn't have a lot of kills, but the kills he does have, pretty much 100% Longbeards, Phoenix Guard, and 1 Noble. I mean, that's a lot of forces. I want to say I had some Orcs over here chasing off the Noble, who's at, you know, very low HP, 137 HP. And at the moment, we're trying to help my Black Orcs by shooting these Longbeards in the back, helping them to win this fight. Airboy's doing it too. They have 100 armor though. And now that we're almost out of ammo, we're going to charge in and try and break them. But man, Longbeards just do not break. Is that another Amber Spear? Oh, that's brutal. 65 kills on the Skink Priest. That's how you use an Amber Spear, guys. You want to get right parallel with a long, skinny formation on good, even terrain and then shoot down the flank. If you can land that, sometimes you can decimate almost entire units. And Nakai in a 1v1 with the Prince looked like he would probably win that. But even 18 Dragonback Slayers is a pretty deadly group. And Nakai to kind of prove me wrong, he just kills 2 of them almost effortlessly. 8 Picaloonies, they are up to 37 kills. I was able to use the Fanatics pretty regular, but they didn't get quite as many kills. Where they excel is in like a siege. If you can get these dudes at the gate and shoot through a tightly packed Dwarven formation in the gate, if you do that in campaign, it's pretty sweet. You can kill a hell of a lot of guys with just 1 use of that. They are, of course, like I said, unbreakable, so they're going to fight till the end. And now Grimgore is getting picked off. If he had Gitsnick, he might have a chance. But at this point, we've lost so much. And the balance of power really takes into account these cannons. The Goblobber, they still have ammunition. So even if it was, you know, closer, it still wouldn't be extremely close. Another WAGHHH going off. Stand your ground being popped to give us some melee defense and some leadership. Death Creepers, I brought them in. They're going to get chewed up by the Phoenix Guard, but I was hoping their poison might allow Grimgore plus Nakai to kill this Prince. That seemed like a pretty good probability. Plus Miasma of Despair, lowering his speed, his vigor, his leadership. I thought we might be able to break him, but it just wasn't enough. He was still too fast. The Phoenix Guard, it's almost like they have a lot of mass for infantry that they're not supposed to have, because they're very hard to get past. Grimgore now up to 66 kills, almost entirely Phoenix Guard. And our Skink Priest is now taking a ton of damage. My Orc Archers, call them Archers, shooting into the Dragonback Slayers, trying to get rid of the last of them. Death Creepers have rallied, but at this point it's pretty much hopeless. Ungrim being unbreakable, of course, sticking around with 486 HP. It was just too much. We just couldn't fight uphill against this many ranged units. You know, we went for kind of smaller, more elite. I kind of went wide a little bit with different threats. Triari went, you know, for some elite cav. Just RORs, you know, trying to have fun. If you want to win in small funds, 2v2s, go wide. Go as wide as you possibly can and diversify. But it was just too much of an obstacle to overcome. And that Star Dragon in 1 attack probably did about 1,000 damage, close to Grimgore. And that's going to signal the end. That's going to tip the balance of power too far in our opponent's favor. But great battle. The whole time, you know, my Night Goblin Shaman just using Itchy Nuisance over and over again on the infantry blobs. I think that was pretty powerful, especially when you consider that Triari was also using the Curse of Onrare to do kind of the same exact thing. Grimgore, it was basically Grimgore versus Phoenix Guard. Black Orcs got targeted pretty hard by the artillery. Goblin Wolf Chariots were able to disrupt things early on, but ultimately, you know, you could get a lot of value if you don't miss micro these guys. But he just, with the Dragonback Slayers there, once I saw them coming from wherever the heck they came from, I didn't see them at the beginning of the battle either. Just like I didn't see them when I started casting. They came out of nowhere, and they really surprised me, and I thought, damn, I just lost my Goblin Wolf Rider chariots. And yeah, that's basically what happened. I could easily see myself getting 100 kills on each of these units if I'm able to micro them correctly, and there's not much to stop them. There was a lot to stop them. MVPs for me, probably Day Peak Loonies kept fighting. And even though they didn't get a lot of kills, what they were able to do was just by being unbreakable, I was able to push them into range targets and force, units like Quarrelers to stop shooting long enough for me to advance with other forces. So I thought that was pretty good. The Cohort of Sotek always pretty much acquit themselves very well. Their big weakness is ranged fire, focused range fire. 3 Quarrelers, 2 volleys probably takes these guys almost out of the fight. Just hard for them. But if you can get them stuck in versus Dwarf Warriors, something like that, they'll fight them all day long. Good use of the Hornworms to back me up on that one flank. These guys are super heavy hitters. Without any type of healing, though, they're a really huge investment. And Nakai plus Grimgore, I mean, look, how much more badass do you want to be? These dudes can beat down any lord in the game, and they were able to take it to Ungrim in a 2v1. No surprise there. Grudge Thrower, if you've ever played a Dwarven campaign, you know that for the first 100 turns, the Grudge Thrower is your bread and butter. It's how you're going to win all your big open field battles against 3 stacks of orcs. So, good play for everyone. The Prince did well. Lothar and Seaguard were okay. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to my opponents for being good sports. Spoonie and Russ Marin. Appreciate you guys. And to my buddy Triari, thank you so much. Guys, if you're interested in subscribing, I would appreciate it. I'm a small YouTube channel. Every subscription helps. I'm trying to get better at casting. I'm always trying to get better at Total War Warhammer 2. So, and if you're interested, we have a Discord channel where we talk and we play games. And you're welcome to join it. The link will be in the description down below. Alright, y'all. Take care. Y'all have a good evening. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Later.